Hello everyone. Today's topic is a Gantt chart. Gantt chart is commonly used in project management because it well illustrates a project schedule. Gantt chart lists the task to be performed on the vertical axis and time intervals on the horizontal axis. You can use Spotfire Mods for the creation of such chart, and there is a nice video from Tibco about that. However, maybe you don't have version 11 yet, or you simply do not want to go this way. Then it is possible to create a Gantt chart from a scatter plot. I prepared several options. Let's check them very briefly. This is my first solution. The coloring here is based on project phases. Otherwise, we have tasks on the y-axis and dates on the x-axis. There is also a vertical line which is showing the current date, and there are also lines showing the beginning of each month. My second solution is exactly the same. I just removed the markers. It is also possible to change them to many different shapes. These charts are only about the plan though. Sometimes we need to also visualize the actual reality. It means that our goal is to show how we perform against the plan. I tried to prepare a Gantt chart for this situation in this step. Reality is represented by a violet color and a plan by an orange color. You can see that each task has an actual and a plan part, so we can tell that identifying of stakeholders missed the deadline. But on the other hand, the authorization of the project met the deadline, etc. etc. We can also show it at one line, where the reality and the plan are again distinguished by the color. Here we can again easily identify that task called identification of stakeholders started later than should and didn't meet its deadline. Task develop scope started according to the schedule, but didn't meet the deadline too. Okay, let's check the next solution. A little bit different outcome can be reached when we change the drawing order of the plan and reality line. When we do it, we can highlight only the difference from the plan as I did it in this Gantt chart. The plan is represented by a green color here and the difference from the plan by a red color. In my opinion, this one is much clearer than the previous Gantt chart. What do you think? Okay, and the final solution, my favorite. Let me again briefly describe it. In this solution, the light green line represents the plan or unfinished part of the task, whereas the dark green bar represents the part that is already finished. Information is completed by the labels, with the percentages of how much of each particular task is done. Okay, I hope that at least one of these solutions is something that you are looking for. Now, I'm going to develop all of these solutions in order in which I showed them to you. Let me open the new DXP. Okay, at first I want to show you the data. As you can see, I have 5 columns: task ID, phase, task, the scheduled beginning of each activity, and scheduled ending of each activity. And that's it. If you have your data in the same format as I have, then the first thing that we need to do is a transformation of our dataset. We have to unpivot our date columns. So, let's go to data canvas and add transformation. Select unpivot. Okay, then we need to select which columns should be passed through and which columns should be transformed. So, from and to transformed and the rest passed through. Here we can see the outcome. I will receive 2 new columns, where one would be consisted of dates, and the second one will tell me whether the date is scheduled beginning or end of an activity. In my case, called from and to. Let's also give it some names. And confirm. Okay, we are ready. So let's add a scatter plot. And let's go to properties. We have to change the axis. X-axis should be our date column, and Y-axis should be our task column. Coloring can be based on phases, for example. We can select colors that we like or apply some color scheme. We definitely need to change the shape from a circle to something else. I like the vertical lines for our use case. Our scatter plot still looks pretty far from the Gantt chart, right? There are still few things missing. One of them is a line that would connect our markers. How to add it? There is a tab called Line Connection. When we click on it, then there is an option to draw a separate line per value in some column. As you probably correctly guess, we would like to draw a separate line per value in column ID task. Okay, I will play with the design a little bit. Here we can add grid lines. Okay, that looks better. Now we should cope with an ordering issue. As you can see, the tasks are ordered alphabetically. We can change it in column properties. I have to select the task column and go to the sort order tab. Now it is possible to select custom sort order and change the ordering according to your needs. In my opinion, there is a better approach. We can create a new calculated column where we would select the minimum date for each task and then rank it. This column can be used as another column at y-axis, which will lead to the desired order. Let's try it. I will create new calculated column. Let's name it. And expression is DenseRank minimum date over ID task. Yeah. Okay, if you don't know the DenseRank function, I have one video about it. The link is in the description. Okay, The next step is the addition of this column to our Gantt chart. Okay, I assume that you do not want to see the ranking here. So let's hide it. There is no option that would hide only part of your y-axis. Therefore, we need to do a small workaround. It is possible to change the label rendering to a picture and change the size of the picture to so small size that it is not possible to see it. Let me do it. There are still the lines that connect the ranking labels with task labels. Even this can be hidden. We need to go to Visualizations, Canvas Styling, and edit the custom theme. In the Details section, it is possible to adjust visualization scales. As you can see, it is possible to hide tick marks, which solves our issue. As you can see, we also need to reverse the scale of the y-axis. Fortunately, this can be done very easily. There is a checkbox for that in the visualization properties. We are almost done with our first visualization. Let's add a vertical line, which would represent a current date. It is simple. Just go to Lines and Curves and adjust the line position to be based on a custom expression. Function today will do the trick. Let's also name it as today. Let's also change the design a little bit. Let me do a few final adjustments quickly. I'm going to add a table with data. Okay, maybe the blue shades were a little bit better, right? Let me copy the colors from my previous example that I showed in the beginning. I should probably also sort my legend. Okay, now just some title and one more small adjustment. And our first chart is completed. Okay. To be honest, I already forgot what the next version was, so let me check. Okay. This version is the same. We just need to remove the markers. I will make a copy of my current tab and I will remove the markers in this copy. In fact, it is not possible to remove the markers, but we can again change the size to so small that it becomes invisible. Okay, done. The next Gantt chart is comparing a plan and reality. Of course, we need different data for this. Let me show you the structure of the data. I have two more columns, not just the planned date, but also columns to capture reality. Of course, we have to unpivot the data again. Let me do it very quickly. The basic concept is still the same. Let me also redo the same steps which we have already done in the previous examples. It means to add a calculated column to be able to sort the tasks, change the y-axis and x-axis, change markers and line connection. Okay, there are the last three remaining things. I have to further adjust y-axis, coloring and line connection. To be able to do that, I need one more calculated column. In this column, I will group the descriptions from planned and to planned to plan, and from actual and to actual to actual. Okay, done. The next step is an addition of this column to the visualization. So let's add it to the y-axis. Colors. And line connection. Let's also increase the width. Now we have a separate line per reality and plan. And how to adjust the visualization to have the plan and reality in one line? It is very easy. We just have to remove our column plan or actual and play with drawing order. At first, let me copy our current visualization. I will remove the plan or actual column from y-axis. And now I will remove it from the line connection. Now I add from to date column to the drawing order expression. As you can see, we still do not have the desired result. We have to change the sorting of the column. So let's go to the column properties. Go to sort order and change it to custom sort order. And switch positions to have from planned and to planned next to each other. Press OK and we are done. As I said in the beginning, this type of Gantt chart is showing the reality line over the plan. Maybe you prefer the other way around, where you show basically the difference from the plan. Let's try it together. I will again copy the tab. Okay. Now let's go to properties of the chart and let's change the drawing order by clicking on reverse drawing order of markers. I also like other colors for this chart. Let's change the actual to red color and plan to green. Now, when reality is same as plan, line will be green, and when there is some difference, we will see it in red color. Now, the big finale. Let me show it for a second. The main difference here is that we work with percentages. Therefore, let me start again with source data for this visualization. As you can see, the plan is still represented with dates, and we only insert a percentage of how much we already accomplished. We will need to transform the data. So let's go to Data Canvas. Okay, what do we want to accomplish? We want to calculate the date, which would represent the percentage of completed work. At first, let's calculate the number of days between from and to. In other words, how many days we need for each task according to the plan. Let's call it number of days. Okay. Now let's add another column where we will multiply the number of days by percentage in column done. Okay, let's call it, for instance, number of days completed. Okay, the next step is the addition of these days to dates stated in from column. Let's write the expression. Okay, we want to also handle the case when we have 0 in our number of days completed column. It basically means to cover cases when there is inserted 0% in the done source column. Let me adjust the expression accordingly. Let's give the column some name, for instance, completed date. Okay, we have to add one more column, which will serve as starting date for the line representing the completed work. This column will be equal to from column and will be empty when there is 0% inserted in the source Excel. Let me write the expression for that. And let's name it beginning of completed date. Okay, let's quickly recapitulate what we just did. We created two new columns, beginning of completed date and completed date, which will represent the part of the task that was completed based on the inserted percentage in the source Excel. Okay, now we have to unpivot the data again. This time, columns which should be transformed are from, to, completed date, and beginning of completed date. Let's call the category from/to, and the value can be called date again. Okay, we are ready for the creation of the Gantt chart. I have to calculate the ranking column again. Let me start with this. Good. I have to also change the data table. Okay. The x-axis is date again. Y-axis is consisted of ranking and task. Colors based on from/to column, which we created with unpivot. Drawing order should be based on from/to column 2. Let's also check the reverse drawing order of markers. Let me also change the design a little bit. Okay, that's it. Let's go back to the properties of the chart and let's change the line connection. Select ID task again. Good. Let's add a vertical line for the current date. Okay. The last thing is the addition of labels. We want to show labels only for markers that represent the completed part of work, and we want to show the percentage of completed work. Let me write the expression for that. Okay, if a row is devoted to the completed date, then we want to show information from the done column. Otherwise, nothing. And we are done. We have our own Gantt chart without any coding. I hope that you like this session. If so, please click on subscribe or let me know in the comment section. See you soon. Bye.